Kitchener-Ottawa. Kitchener.
Thank you. Speaker, my question is to the Minister of Health. Speaker, this morning we heard the personal trauma faced by 19-year-old Leila Attar, and Leila has joined us today in the members' gallery, and I thank you, Leila, for joining us. She endured a near-death experience after taking a Percocet that a pill press operator laced with fentanyl. Leila, other victims, their families and police officers are calling on governments to restrict illegal use of pill presses, churning out counterfeit and awfully deadly pills onto our streets. While the minister has called a pill press ban oversimplistic, in dealing with opiates, those directly impacted by counterfeit-laced drugs understand it's a key step to address this deadly threat at its source. Speaker, today the minister and the Liberals will have a choice with the debate of the Illegal Pill Press Act. Join us to take these death-dealing machines already in Ontario off our streets, or allow them to continue tearing families apart. What will the minister do?
Thank you. Minister of Health, long-term care.
Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I appreciate the question. I look forward to the debate, and I want to acknowledge Leila in the gallery as well, and quite frankly, for her courage in coming forward and telling her story. It can't, for anybody, it's unimaginable, but it can't be. It must be incredibly difficult to demonstrate that courage. So, thank you. And Mr. Speaker, when I said that banning pill presses in an Ontario context was overly simplistic, I meant that in the overall context of addressing the opioid crisis, the public health crisis in this province. And I also mentioned that, as the member opposite knows, the federal government has already passed legislation in Bill C-37 that includes a provision that explicitly prohibits and renders illegal unregistered importation of designated devices such as pill presses and encapsulators. It's actually broader, perhaps, that may be used in the illicit manufacture of narcotics. I understand why that party is solely focused, it seems, on the law and order aspect. It needs to be a broad, comprehensive response to the public health crisis, Mr. Speaker.
Supplementary.
Yes, thank you, Speaker. And we acknowledge the actual role the federal government has taken on Bill C-37. They acknowledge the importance, the detriment that these pill presses are in fact having on our communities right across Canada. But of course, that's only the importation fact. We're talking about the possession, because we know they're here right now in the province of Ontario. And so I'm going to make, of course, this question oversimplistic. As the minister feels about the united call of victims, their families, police officers, and myself to ban pill presses churning out these counterfeit opiates on our streets. So, does the minister support getting illegal opiates off our streets through penalties and jail for illegal pill manufacturers, for possessing pill manufacturers, or is he just soft on crime?
Thank you.
Well, Mr. Speaker,
it was almost good.
It was almost a good question.
So it's critically important that we address the public health crisis before us, the opioid crisis in this province, in this country, from a multifaceted approach. And clearly, there is a law and order component to this. Nobody can deny that, and we need to do everything we can to address that. However, I'm disappointed that this is the only suggestion that the party opposite has brought forward to a crisis where we, since last summer, have been providing naloxone across the province free of charge, more than 1,500 pharmacies, where we're now distributing it at the rate of 8,000 a month through our public health units, Mr. Speaker, where we're making fentanyl testing strips available to our supervised injection sites and the pop-up sites so that those users can test for the presence of fentanyl to save lives, Mr. Speaker.